Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
The difference between an authentic voice and a copycat voice. I know as a coach or consultant, we are faced with a lot of challenges when it comes to growing our business. You know, we have to generate leads. We have to connect with those leads and convert them into paying customers. And I can imagine as an entrepreneur, marketing is just one aspect of running a successful business. You know, you go from hiring and managing new staff, balancing books, driving growth, and a whole lot more of other things that seem to be pulling you in multiple different directions all at once. And it all just feels like you have to be constantly balancing between your authentic voice and what's actually working in the marketplace there. And I know it's very confusing because, people like myself always come up with statements like, why invent mediocrity when you can copy genius? And, at the end of the day, you are at a loss as to what to exactly do in order to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And I know for sure right about now, at the end of the day, your real goal is just to help your clients. You want to spend as much time as possible changing people's lives and solving people's problems. You don't want to waste countless hours each week having to navigate the whole complex world of online marketing. Neither do I, but you know what? That's where our customers live. And that's why once you have identified your target market and you have clarified your message, you need to actually go out there and create for and relate to the people that you're going to be demanding money off of. But it just so happens that the internet is awash with communities, conversations, and content, which now leaves us begging the question, wait a minute, am I ever going to be genuine and authentic enough that I'm going to come up with something that is completely original that nobody else has said out there? Well, let me tell you something. There's still room for you to create something. There's a lot of opportunity for you to come up with something that is authentic. You know why? Because there's only one of you, okay? The way you talk, the way you show up, the time and the reference point that you bring about certain topics and certain ideas is never going to be the same as the whole market, and it's never going to be the same as any other guru in your marketplace. So you do have an opportunity to actually show up and prove to us you have an authentic voice, you have authentic thoughts that we can actually follow through. Okay, so the whole game of being an entrepreneur is not any different to being a politician. Okay, with politicians, you're racing to be elected by people, which is pretty much the same as when you show up on social media with an idea. You're hoping people are going to like it, share it, and comment about it so that they can actually then vote for you. And the votes are either in searching for you online or actually buying from you. So people vote with their credit cards, especially when it comes to our social media and whatever engagement that we put out there. And yes, this episode is about growing your business, so hang in there. Some people might just be thinking, wait a minute, have I just jumped and stumbled onto a political podcast? No. I just want to show you that if you maintain your original voice, your authentic voice, people will seek you out because you're presenting something that's unique in the marketplace. Instead of parroting and being a copycat, or for lack of a better term, being a Me Too brand out there, okay? And at the end of the day, the one that shows up with authenticity, the one that shows up with genuine thought leadership is what people are seeking out there in the world. Everything else can be indexed on Google, everything else can be Googled, or you can find somebody who's talking about it cheaper, better, faster online. What are you bringing to the table that your clients will definitely know, like, and trust about you so that they can choose you as their preferred supplier of whatever coaching, consulting, training, information, or expertise that you're bringing to the marketplace, okay? So we're faced with, this whole need to appear as intelligent or informed, or actually much the wiser in our industry, yet we are taking away from our own authenticity. We are taking away from our genuine and truly authentic approach in business. And because if you do this, if you take away from being authentic, you're not only cheating yourself and gaming the system, because being the true and authentic version of yourself is the only way that you can really create a business that actually aligns with you and your needs, okay? If you lie and cheat your way to success, guess what? The people that you're going to connect with, the clients that you're going to attract are all going to be attracted to that lie. And when you show up on the day that you can't fulfill or come up with that, promise that you made to them, guess what happens? They are actually going to leave you high and dry, and you would have wasted a lot of your time, money, and effort trying to bring in people that you don't even like working with anyway, okay? So at the end of the day, you don't want to show up just like any other, coach or consultant out there. People or the marketplace have now become used to expect genuine people, genuine authorities. If you fake it until you make it, like what they used to say, people will catch up with you, like we were told as kids, the truth will eventually come out. Only the truth will set you free. If you want to live a free life, a life that you actually control your own destiny, you have to be authentic about the way you show up in the world, the way you actually present yourself. Even if you are not quite sure about certain things, don't just show up in the marketplace as if you already know what is going on. The biggest problem that we have is we tend to copy those that have made it. We tend to, create, a me too type brand. And when a brand so closely resembles another brand, maybe in their communications, in their logo, or the posts that they put out on social media, not only does it cause confusion in the marketplace, first of all, to its customers, but it actually causes authority shake up, which basically means whatever the brand you are copying has done or is doing or is viewed as in the marketplace, that will then be transferred onto you. And usually when it's good things, it might work for a while, but when bad things start happening, you are also painted by the same brush. I once came across a consulting company whose whole strategy was to intentionally be a Me Too brand. And I kid you not, their plan was just to confuse the market so they could steal their competitors' clients. Obviously, it sounded like a genuine and okay idea at the time, but you know what they did? They even went to as far as renaming their company, and they took the company's two-word name. They actually reversed the order of the words just so that it sounds and rhymes like the original company that they were mimicking there. You know what I mean? So they had a similar sort of logo drawn up, and they even mimicked the company's website and colors. They just changed the tones just slightly, and even in their marketing materials, they definitely look like the original company. And at first, this strategy was actually working, as they were successful in stealing all the clients from the competitor, because, the clients would call because they were thinking that they were calling the original company, and they were, the mimicking company, the Me Too company, was actually able to grow really fast because of this. But after a few years, the owner of the original company was actually arrested for fraud. And this happened a couple of days ago. And not only did this company suffer, and go out of business. But the Me Too brand also followed suit. Now, you see what happens when you create confusion in the marketplace to steal clients. Your brand is no longer your brand, okay? You'll have to deal with all the effects of whatever you have done and what the other company has done as well, because you were masquerading as that company. So what would separate you from the criminal activities or whatever, illegal stuff that the other original brand was doing? So the Me Too brand tried to explain to its customers that they were not the original brand, but guess what? Their clients could not believe them. Their clients actually started thinking they're now lying just so that they could treat them a whole lot further. You know why? It's harder to convince somebody, or to get somebody to change their mind. I've done a podcast episode around that. So now you see why it's wrong for you to copy other people, especially when you don't quite know what their strategies, especially if you don't know what their dealings are in the marketplace there. You actually end up getting painted by the same brush. And guess what the Me Too company ended up doing? They actually tried to explain to their clients that they were not the original brand, and their clients were like, nah, you guys were the ones that did whatever, that kerfuffle in the marketplace. We don't want to hear about you. We don't want to be associated with you. And they got canceled. And you know what the Me Too brand had to do? They were actually forced to complete a rebranding and started establishing their credibility in new markets and with new clients. And they basically had to start all over again, which is what they should have done in the first place. They could have just built their brand right from the get-go and grow organically like any other successful brand does. But no, they wanted to cheat the system. They wanted to copy. They wanted to have that perceived credibility in the marketplace. They wanted to grow fast. They just wanted everything that the original brand wanted. But you don't get to pick and choose what stuff of that brand you want, not just the good parts. Even when the bad things start coming in, you will also be painted with that brush. Now check your business right now. Are you copying anyone, or have you sort of looked at some of the services that other people are offering and you decided to make them your own, or copied words from somebody else's website? Because if they're going to go down, you're going down with them as well. All right. So you can't pick and choose which aspect of the brand that you want, because all of this has got long-term effects. You know what I mean? Yes, the short-term effects outweigh the potential costs of you starting a brand and everything else. But in the long term, the lawsuits that are going to come through, the forced rebranding and the inability to build a true brand, or even the equity that comes with the brand and the confusion to your own markets as a whole, will you be wanting to bear that cost? It's better for you to go down, over your own doing, not because a company that you copied is copying, some legal matters there, and you are also just going to be, painted with that brush just because you opted to be a Me Too brand. So after all, if you choose to take the route of becoming a Me Too brand, what you got here basically is not going to take you over to the other side. You know why? Because whatever actions the other brand is going to do are also going to affect you. So you want to check, is your brand literally looking like anything else out there? Is somebody confusing your brand? Like when they show up to your website, they'll be like, oh, you look like Tony Robbins. Oh, you look like, this consulting company. Just do a comparative assessment of what your competitors are doing, what their core message is, how they sound, how they look, how they feel. If it's similar to yours, start working towards going away from that. You know why? Because when things happen in the marketplace, there's so much virtue signaling that's happening in the marketplace right now. Every single day we wake up, there's something that the market is worried about. So if you copied Tony Robbins and then all of a sudden he wakes up and there's a court case around him for having done bad things to young kids, your brand is going down with him and you don't even, you're not even associated with him. All right? So before you can beat your competition, your customers would have to be able to tell you apart from everybody else. And the opportunity to work with an audience is a privilege. So don't take that for granted. That's the reason why you have to show up and be truly authentic to who you are, because you can control the narrative from then on. You can control the message that you put out there. You can control what happens to your business, because if you put the branding and the exposure to other, somebody else who you don't control, guess what? They don't have your best interest at heart. So being true and authentic version of yourself is the only way that you can really create a business that actually aligns with you and your own needs. And authenticity, is something that is being thrown around. You know what I mean? Me showing up on this podcast every single day, I just snitch on what is happening around me. All right, I'm not going on social media. I'm not even on social media. You could check that up. I'm not even on social media to see what everybody else is doing out there. Guess what I do? I speak to a lot of clients every single day. You know why? Because my marketing works. That puts me in front of a lot of people. That puts me in front of a lot of stories. That puts me in front of a lot of businesses. And that puts me in front of a lot of case studies. I then use that information to put out an episode every single day. And that is how I create my own authenticity and formulate my own voice. I'm not out there copying what other gurus or what other marketing consultants are saying so that I start sounding like a parody, a parrot, or like a copycat out there. Authenticity is the quality of being true to you. Who are you and what do you actually want out of this business that you're creating? When you become real, when you become true, you actually stand for something. A lot of us are out there just standing for whatever because we haven't created a business that we actually are proud of. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of us don't have confidence and conviction of showing up every day as a person that you truly are. You know why? Because you copied everything that has to do with your brand. Yes, I understand you don't want to waste countless hours every week trying to navigate this whole world of online marketing. And certainly you don't want to spend yet another minute maybe on the phone having to beg people to hire your services. And you know what? Fortunately, you don't have to. People buy from other people. Right now, what is it that you're embarrassed with? What is it that you're struggling with? What is it that you're, trying to get over? And what are you doing about it? That in and of itself becomes content. That becomes content because we want to show up as if we are this biggest, baddest person when we're not there yet. A lot of people, have this whole statement around them saying, fake it until you make it. Bruh, sister, don't. Just be who you are. And people will actually appreciate that a whole lot more than trying to fake it. You know why? We're the most documented generation right now. Anything you say can and will be used against you on social media. So some people struggle with being authentic and, as they have been led to believe that they have to put on an act. They have to Instagram every, sausage that they eat. I know you don't Instagram your sausages, you Instagram your salads. But hey, don't you go to Bunnings and eat sausages? Why don't you Instagram that? So they want to show up as a person that somebody else wants them to be rather than them being their genuine self. Just be yourself, bro. Just be yourself. See, because to run a business that truly serves you and your ideal client, you have to be authentic. Look at me, man. I've been at this for about 10 years so far and 7 years full time. And I haven't changed my message. I haven't changed, how I want to build this online prosperity empire. It has been the same. Yes, maybe I might change, the offering here and there depending on the period that we're in. But we've been through pandemics. We've been through market downturns. We've been through times when I almost lost my business. And guess what? I was showing up every single day and telling my story. So if you're putting something out there that is not truly aligned to you, the results you will get will not be aligned to you either. And this includes the clients, the partners, the teams that you bring in, because you are telling them you are something that you're not, and that's what they buy into. You'd rather have people buy into you so that when it comes to recessions, when it comes to market downturns, when it comes to times when you really need them the most, you have the right kind of people with the right kind of pain in your team, not people that are just there because you're paying them, not people that are just there because you promised them something that you're dying to deliver to them. I mean, if you're gonna be lying on your podcast, guess what? If nobody goes in and deletes this podcast, it's set in stone. So don't try and impress people that you don't even know or people that don't even care. Most people don't even care anyway that you exist. And a lot of coaches, consultants, and small to medium businesses, they fall into these same traps. They become overly trained, overly, maybe confused about what it is that they're supposed to be offering out there. They listen to a lot of focus groups, which is the groups that we're in, and they think everybody's on the same level as they are, and they rely too much on, say, power words or jargon or things of that nature or whatever cunning tricks and closing strategies. And you know what happens? You lose. You lose pretty quick because people are vying for genuine, normal human conversations. Like I keep repeating, the internet is made and driven by community, conversations, and content. Of any of those things, if you're not genuine enough, there's no way you can influence people. There's no way people will allow you to serve them. There's no way you can make money on the internet. Yes, you can. I mean, like that Me.Too brand did. But if things that are beyond your control start showing up, guess what? You're going to fall. You're going to fall with that, and it's going to be very difficult for you to rise up from that anyway. You might as well be working on a genuine company with very little progress than having so much progress that it's going to just fall down like a house of cards. Let me tell you something, man. To be really successful, not just as a business owner, and even as an individual, be the person that succeeds in originality. Be the person that is sought out for having come up with something, not just yet another person who is a Me Too out there. Be the one that everybody knows to be authentic, because you know what? They can see how passionate and truthful you are, being by everything else that you're putting out there in the marketplace. Do work that matters for people who care. Don't just do it for the likes. Don't just do it for the gram. I mean, there's maybe 5 pieces of advice that I can give you in the next 10 minutes that will just let you and your true, authentic self shine through the noise that's happening in the marketplace right now. Yes, maybe you are trying to show up in the marketplace and nobody seems to be wanting to buy whatever it is that you're selling. Maybe you're trying to, send hundreds of emails without even getting as much as, hey, thank you so much for reaching out, because maybe you copied that email sequence from some guru who's selling it on the internet, and it only works on people like yourself. When you show up in somebody else's inbox with a borrowed or copied email, guess what? Chances are they've probably seen it before. Chances are they've heard the methodology before, and they're just going to paint you with the same brush of other copycats out there that are not genuine. Let me tell you something, man. Our customers, our people are seeking out genuine voices from real people that are not just Me Too robots, parrots that are on the internet out there. I mean, nobody is fooled by any sleek tactics, because anytime somebody's selling you a tactic, online, and they say they've tried it and they give you testimonials, that means the whole market is flooded with that tactic. You're just going to fall for the sales process that's in that tactic. So how do you become authentic? I mean, obviously, we already know what this is. When you share your values, you're not doing it for the people you're sharing it to, but half of the time when you share your values, you're actually holding yourself accountable. Because as an individual and as a business owner, we all live and we all have values. So you're not just going to fall for the values that the TV anchor is presenting on that particular day based on what the market feels. Things that are important to you, like behaviors, things that are important to you, like the standards that you set. If you show people who you are, people will respect you from the level you respect yourself, from your values. Have you ever noticed that if you tell people that you are Sally or John or Rick or Martin or whatever it is, nobody comes up and say, nah, I feel like calling you Jess. I feel like calling you John. No, however you present yourself in the marketplace is how people take you. And if you're not original, no, people won't question it. You know why? Because people are busy with their lives anyway. So if you've got values, have you shared this with your clients? Have you shared them with your audience? Can they see or can they separate you from any other podcast out there? Can they see or separate you from any other video out there? Not just creating a video just because that's what's in fashion. And when they see things that are unique only to you, guess what? They will show you when somebody copies you. Now that's power. That's authenticity. You know? And if you haven't figured out what's something that defines your business, if you haven't discovered what your values are, that means you are not even scrapping the surface of actually creating an audience out there. Because if you haven't yet actually defined the values of your business, I'd suggest you take some time to do that because they underpin everything that you do. People like us do things like this. That's how you weed out anybody else and other mediocre, coaches and consultants out there that are just spraying and praying with their marketing and don't have a genuine voice, don't have a genuine message. And your clients will also notice that you don't even have a defined journey that you want them to go, along. And once you've got your values defined, guess what? It actually creates the basis of how you show up in the world. And you want to share them with your audience. You want to show and tell them what is important to you, and this will help them resonate to you. And the ones that will actually fit into your schedule will be the ones that actually show up and say, hey, I'm the one. Not only your values as well, your passions. What are you passionate about? Because your passions are the things that really excite you, and you want to always show up in the world excited. I'm excited about helping other people be, do, and have a happier existence. And that's why, for me, it's important that your business is profitable and enjoyable. That way, I would have a few people to high five when all is said and done. So what are your passions? Because this could be business-led passions or individual, but regardless of whatever it is, sharing this with your audience, again, allows them to really understand who you are. You want people that know, like, and trust you, and people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. So let me tell you something. The more you can let people into your life, I mean, obviously with boundaries. I'm not saying that you allow anybody to just waltz, waltz through your living room or things of that nature. But the more you let people in, the more they can understand whether or not you're somebody that they can work with. All right? Because if you don't let people in, guess what? They're not even going to bother wanting to know more about you and how you can help them. I mean, don't think that the fun things cannot be included here, because people are here for a good time. Everybody is in pursuit of happiness. So your audience needs to see that you're a human as well. They also want to see that you're having fun and what kind of life that you're living, so much that they aspire for that. You could be a health coach. You could be a wealth coach or a relationship coach. If you're a health coach, are you healthy? Because don't show up to me and say you are a health coach or some sort of wellness practitioner, and I can notice that you've got some underlying, diseases that are incurable. It passes on a very different message. Don't tell me you're a wealth coach or you're a financial, coach or financial advisor, and we see that you've been, bankrupt once in your life, and you haven't been really good with your finances. And don't be a relationship coach coming from a divorce. You get what I mean? So you want to be authentic in your real self, and whoever you are becoming, you have to embody that, what's and all. That way, people get to actually notice who you are and see if you're the right person to deal with. And remember that not everything has to be perfect. I mean, perfection is a fallacy. You can spend so much of your time trying to make everything perfect. Guess what? Every single day, I just show up on the podcast. Yes, it starts off a little bit slow, but look at where we are now. We're in cruise mode. That's how your audience wants to see you. They want to see you turning up, being present, sharing your advice, your knowledge, and letting them into your world. As mentioned already, before when I was saying this, they want to see that you're human as possible. And you know what? People buy from people. So all the mistakes that you do, Unless you are a Me Too brand that's copying other people and you don't want to associate with those mistakes. But all the mistakes that you do while you're on your way to get it right, that's what people want. So like I said, what are you embarrassed by? What are you struggling with right now? And what is it that you're doing about it? That now becomes content. And you also find that it's beneficial for you because the more times you relate your stories, if you tell 10 people, guess what happens? You are listening to it 10 more times. And in those 10 times, you pick up something that you didn't pick up before, and you can create a lesson that you can then use for other people out there. Just be genuine and embrace the journey because you already know the real you deep down. And guess what? Other people can also connect to that. So if you hide behind your phone, if you hide behind your computer screen and pretend that, those people that say, do as I say, not as I do, people will catch up on you. We're the most, documented generation. So let me tell you something. Be open, be honest, and show a bit of vulnerability. And you don't even have to hide everything away. And just trust and believe that if you're fearlessly authentic in everything that you do, your ideal clients will show up in ways that you never imagined possible. So how do you do this then? And why is this important? Because once you're authentic and once people are supporting your business, this will recession-proof your business, and you create, recurring revenue streams because you're no longer creating, you're no longer selling products to your customers. You're now creating products for people that follow you. So if you want to take advantage of how to become authentic and, master the difference between an authentic voice and a copycat voice, I encourage you to schedule a call with me. And on that call, we'll work hands-on. And I'll help you develop a strategic plan and then really deep dive into who your ideal clients are. Because if you've got clarity of who your clients are, then you know what it is that they're looking for from you. If you know what your clients need from you, it's easy for you to show up for them like that. And then pretty much we'll look at your messaging and whatever you're offering them to make sure that it aligns with your current business optimization, model. And if it's not, then we optimize it for that. And pretty much after that, we'll help you set up your marketing engine and your lead generation system so that you can constantly attract your ideal clients. What I really genuinely hope for you is that you understand that being truly authentic in business is the only way that can actually create a business that aligns with you and your needs. I can't wait to see your authentic stuff out there. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au